Do you see a pattern? There have been protests in campuses, of course, outside campuses as well, against the sort of the crushing of dissent, the crushing of questioning in all kinds of ways over the last year. And perhaps this is, in a sense, a peak because JNU is perhaps the best target for vilification as anti-national and so forth. So would you speak a little about this pattern in terms of calling students vaguely leftist or anti-national or seditious or talking about or misinformation or police on the campus?
Yeah, well, this was a propaganda that began with JNU. That a lot of initially it was said, oh, that unless you're a Marxist, you can't get a job there, kind of thing, which was absolute nonsense. And if you did a head count of the number of people who declared themselves to be Marxist, it was a fraction, a tiny fraction. But as people used to say in those days, that in any other university, including Delhi University, in those days, I'm talking about the 70s, you were very quiet about the fact that you were a Marxist because people would then take it out on you in different ways. But in JNU, it didn't matter. You were or you were not. It was taken as something which was part of your philosophical explanation. And I attribute this to the fact that in many of the other universities, to be a Marxist used to mean you had to be a member of the Communist Party. But in JNU, because we emphasized reading so much and the texts, you could be a philosophical Marxist without being anywhere near the Communist Party. The thing was to question. It was the method, the historical method began with saying you question existing knowledge and you rediscover what you want to discover.
May I add that you question and you act, because very often questioning and dissent also takes the form of action.
Yes, yes,
so
this
is where the
indeed.
JNU students have been at the forefront. In 2012, when Jyoti Singh was raped, the JNU students were out there on the roads the first.
Oh, it goes back much earlier, right, into the early years of JNU, for example, when the whole business about what is a democratic society. I think ours was amongst the first of the universities that said, right, we will have student faculty committees, we will have students sitting on the board of studies, we will have students sitting in the academic council. And this business of the university consists of faculty, students, and administration, and all three wings have to be represented in the bodies that controlled the university. This was very strong in JNU. And I remember in the early years, I mean, people like Bipin Chandra and myself and 2 or 3 others were constantly being heard out because there was some problem over admissions or something. And even the Vice-Chancellor was being heard out. But it was all sorted out in the university.
There's been a tradition.
University
looking after itself.
Looking after
so
itself.
The very idea of the police, and I suspect everyone in JNU is remembering the emergency.
The emergency. That was the first time that the police came in. And there again, the point is that as the police came in to pick up people, the university came together to protect those people. And I remember at that time, the Vice-Chancellor actually went and saw whoever was concerned and said, you can't pick up students like this. It's all right picking up politicians because you have a problem with the politicians, but you cannot pick up students. There was that recognition.
You say actually this is an attack on a very vital link that this university and the university students and faculty have had, not just with politics in general and with the city they live in, but even with the neighborhood. Because today to see people outside these closed gates, people who have nothing to do with the university, asking for it to be closed, seem to me tragic, because the students have always taken up issues in the neighborhood and of course beyond.
No, this is really striking at the heart of any institution that should be a viable institution in a society. After all, institutions do not exist in a vacuum. They have a social context. And if you're going to try and create a situation where that institution is being attacked by the social context, then you're destroying both the context and the institution. And this is really where what is happening today is horrific. There's no other word for it.
Well, as a teacher of many years, Romila, what would you say to those students in JNU today and your colleagues in JNU, the teachers?
Well, I'm delighted with the reaction of both categories of people. I mean, the protest, I thought, was really remarkable, that the university came together in that fashion. A, to defend the student who'd been arrested, and B, to defend the university. I think there was a real sense in which teachers and students felt this was their institution. And that is extremely encouraging, and you know, it's something one's very pleased about, because one has, I mean, I've spent all my working life there, and trying to create not just academic qualifications that are superior to many other places, which we did succeed in doing, but trying to create an ambiance where both teachers and students were comfortable with each other.